Hi, today we're making double surprise pumpkin pie
with no refined fats and sugars, made with healthy ingredients. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Food for Thought. My name is Trishonna, and these are my sisters, Audrey and Emberly, and we're the Benton Sisters. Today, we're talking about trust and divine power. Jesus safeguarded his health carefully as he went around the countryside healing the sick and suffering. We believe it is still his desire to grant us healing today. We believe that we are blessed with wisdom for health promotion. All the natural laws of health are linked together in a circle, a continuum. Each one builds upon the other. You can't take them out of order or put them in any order because they all combine together. Let's take a look at them. Nutrition is where we have healthy fuel from God when we follow his original diet. It fortifies our bodies with the building blocks for building healthy bones and our system of our bodies.
And number 2 is exercise. We engage in regular movement daily. We exercise at least 30 minutes 3 times a week, and which gives support to our digestion process. It oxygenates our blood, increasing on circulation, and strengthens our heart, mind, and our body.
And number 3 is water. We drink 8-ounce glasses of water a day to hydrate and recharge the system and flush toxins out of our bodies. We use water in natural cures in many different ways, including hot and cold showers as a hydrotherapy. Also, number 4 is sunshine. We recharge our bodies with sunlight, and the sunlight helps kill bacteria on our skin and exposed surfaces. Also, it helps us to take in vitamin D.
And number 5 is air. Remember to open your windows to freshen the air with negative ions and breathe in a full breath of air, which aids in sound sleep and it clears your mind.
Then we have temperance. This is the key to keeping everything in balance. Moderation of good things is the key also, and abstinence from everything harmful. We want to remember to educate ourselves so that we can make good choices. And the 7th law of health is rest. We allow our minds and bodies to rest, repair, and rebuild by respecting and using God's work-rest principle. When doing work, for example, it's good to take breaks and wait 5 to 6 hours between meals and don't eat after 6 p.m. With proper recreation and delightful Sabbath rest, we honor our Creator. And now, number 8, trust in divine power. We trust our Creator by placing ourselves in his care, the greatest physician of them all. Also, the perfection of his wisdom. And our bodies are masterpieces of his integrated systems. Just look at the skeletal system, for example. The bones do more to hold us together and keep us rigid than like jellyfishes. Just look at the bones make red blood cells to oxygenate our body and white blood cells to fight off infection and disease.
But it takes the muscular system to hold the bones upright and to move them in all directions.
And while the digestion process transfers foods into nutrients that feeds our muscles and our bones.
Everything works in coordination together as God has made them. These systems are a marvel, and we just praise the Lord for he has made us fearfully and wonderfully. What a creator God we serve. He loves us so much, and he has also provided everything we need for health and happiness. And now it's time to do some cooking.
Okay.
Well, first we're going to start with making a pie crust.
All right. And what do we use first in this pie crust?
Okay, first we'll need cashews.
I could have guessed that one.
Okay. And we'll add a half of a cup of cashews to the blender.
These are raw, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And we need a little salt.
Actually, that's a cup of cashews.
Okay.
Yeah. And 3/4 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And half of a cup of water.
Now, isn't this an easy recipe, just 3 ingredients?
Now, you must be making our shortening for the pie crust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we blend this until it's satiny smooth. Is that the key?
Yes.
Right.
All right. So let's blend it.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
We need to grind our flour. Put that up here.
the whisper mill,
Okay.
we have in this.
This is our barley and our oat groats. And we like to have fresh grain because it has more vitamins in it. And you know, when you do it fresh, it always tastes better. Okay, should we
Who
turn it
knows
on?
how long the flour's been sitting on the shelf at the store, right?
Oxidizing
right.
and turning rancid.
And aged.
That's right.
Okay, here we go. Okay,
So what exactly are you going to put in this pie crust?
well, this is barley and oat flour.
Mixed.
Right, uh-huh.
Okay, and we need about a cup of each.
Here, we want to switch places again? Sure.
And you can either stir it by hand, mix it together with our cashew shortening we just made, or you can do it in a mixing bowl, whatever you prefer.
Okay, Trishonna, will you read off our pumpkin pie filling, please?
Okay, we have 2 cups of pumpkin and 1½ cups of cooked, 1½ cups of coconut milk,
And you can add that to the blender.
2/3 of a cup of honey, 1 cup of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, 1/2 tablespoon of butter flavoring, non-dairy, optional, and 1/2 cup of cornstarch. And then we need 1 teaspoon of cardamom and 1 batch of whipped cream from our cookbook.
Okay,
Sounds good.
let's get started. So we have our pumpkin here. Let's put this in the blender. So I can get this in there, okay? This is 2 cups of pumpkin, right?
Right.
Okay. And you can use fresh pumpkin, or if you don't have that, you can use canned.
When you mean fresh, you mean freshly cooked?
Right.
Okay, because you wouldn't want to use it raw, would you?
No.
Okay.
Raw. Let me get a washcloth here. Okay, then it calls for honey.
And it calls for imitation butter flavoring. That's an optional to give it that really authentic flavor.
You want to put some of that in?
Sure.
Then it calls for non-dairy milk. Okay.
And what is this in here? This is the cornstarch and cardamom and a little salt, right?
Right. Go
We'll
ahead.
put that in the blender.
So thicken up.
Whiz till completely blended, right?
Right. And I need a blender lid. Here we go.
And my pie crust I'm making here, if you have it too dry, you can add just a little bit more water. And if you have it too wet, you added too much water on accident, just add a little bit more flour and just mix it up.
You're telling us it's very flexible then, right?
Yeah, you can't hurt it.
Okay, we'll whiz this up here. Okay, it doesn't have to blend very long because there's no cashews in here. Okay, we need a kettle to thicken it up on the stove.
And here we have our kettle.
Here we have spoon. Okay. Okay.
So you thicken this up till the cornstarch is turned to gel, right?
Right.
And then you put it in a pre-baked pie crust. Is that how it works, or do you put it in?
Well, it's a double surprise pumpkin pie, and so we're going to have whipping cream on the bottom.
Well, that's right. That's what you said earlier.
That's where we're thickening it up first.
Uh-huh.
double
okay.
surprise pumpkin pie. Now this is. I'm curious to find out
gonna get some-
what this consists
Sure.
of.
I'm going to put a little wax paper down.
Saran wrap.
Saran wrap.
You can use wax paper or saran wrap for rolling out your pie crust.
And we're going to put a little water down so we have it sticking on the counter. That's probably good.
Don't want to put too much.
That's a good, simple
down
way to
for
keep
you.
your cellophane to keep from moving around, huh?
Oops.
Get enough of it down. Okay, the top piece.
You know, you can also make wonderful little crackers out of this pie crust. Just get some really pretty or fancy cookie dough cutters and make it really creative, and even sprinkle different things on it, like sesame seeds or different seasonings like cardamom. Cardamom is a nice a really neat herb that we like to use. It has a really unique flavor. We like to use it sometimes in replacement of cinnamon.
Sliding around on me. Okay, I want to make sure I get it big enough. It's nice to have a marble rolling pin. Okay, that's probably good. Marble rolling pins are heavier and they're easier. Help a little bit in rolling it out.
This our pie is going to go in? Pie pan? Okay.
So, what are you going to put for the surprise in this pumpkin pie, Emberly?
Whipping cream down first.
Oh, and are we going to make that?
Yes. Oh, no, we have it pre-made. We already made it on another show, remember?
And this whipping cream
I'll
doesn't
go get it,
have
okay?
any
Okay.
cholesterol because there's no animal products in it, and there's no refined oils, and it's also in the cookbook, right? So those who want this, they can make it too, right? Well, that's good.
And then you just roll up the leftover dough up like this on the edges. And if you have it too thin in one spot, you just do that, pull it off and stick it in another spot, and it's real easy.
You know, the exciting thing about this pie crust, we also have an apple pie recipe in the cookbook that's so good. And we make a crumb topping, a golden crumb topping is what we call it, to go over the top of the apples. And you know how regular apple pie, well, we might say grandma's apple pie or something like that, uses the most sour apple in the world, it seems, and then add all that refined sugar to it just to make them sweet. Well, we've discovered a great way to do it without all that sugar. Find sweet apples. That way you don't have to put all that sugar into it. And it's so good. And then we put a beautiful crumb topping over the apple pie. And did you know you can even freeze it after you baked it and bring it out later and serve it for breakfast? It's so healthy. It's really good for you.
Then you just flute the edges any old way you like to do it. I like to use my finger and my thumb, like this.
And you were quick at that. Looks like it was really easy.
It is.
Okay. Here's the whipped cream.
Then you prick it with the forks, and then you...
Now, do you bake this first, and then you put whipped cream
Well,
in?
we have one that's already pre-baked, and so we're going to just set this one aside.
Okay, we'll put that in the oven.
Well, you do that all,
and
the counter cleaned off?
that's wonderful. You know, there's so many benefits in eating whole grains because they're full of fiber, full of nutrition, calcium, and magnesium, iron. All the nutrients are in the whole grains. And it's amazing how many vitamins and minerals they remove when they refine the flours. And it's hard to buy bread with both fiber and all the nutrients in there. In fact, if you read the label on the back of a bread package, usually it says enriched whole wheat flour or something like that. And what enriched means is they take about 18 vitamins and minerals out and put 4 back in and call it enriched. Now, would you feel that's enriched? How about if you had $18 in your wallet and someone stole your money? Then feeling guilty that he gave you $4 back, would you feel enriched? I wouldn't. And so, oh, you got your pie crust here. So it's important to eat the food in their natural state. And if you can grind your flour fresh is the best.
Well, we have our whipping cream that we pre-made for you, and this is out of our cookbook. It has no refined fats or sugars, no dairy products, and we're just going to put a little bit on the bottom and smooth it around. Then you might want to let it put it in the fridge while you're waiting for your pumpkin to set up. And how's our pumpkin coming along?
It's thickening pretty nicely.
You want the pumpkin to boil for about probably a minute, so you make sure it gets really thick. And then we're going to just put it in a pan and we'll let it sit up in the refrigerator to cool it. And then we'll show you how to whip it, and we'll put it over the top of this. You know what? This is ready. We'll just put this in the fridge, and while we're waiting for that, why don't we make a pecan pie?
Ooh, that sounds good.
That'd be fun, huh?
I like pecan pie.
Should I get that in the fridge for you?
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the first ingredient for this pie, Emberly?
Well, we definitely need pecans.
Oh, of
And
course.
then need some dates. Oh, thank you.
And we probably need a blender, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I think we'll soften the dates up on the stove in a kettle. I'll give you the dates.
Here's a spoon.
Thank you.
And we'll add the honey with them to soften the honey up. I'll use a spatula. And this is how much dates we have there, Audrey.
Okay, we have 1 1/3 cups of dates.
And how much honey are we adding?
1/3 cup of honey.
Okay.
And this is Love Your Heart butter. What are we doing with this? Does this go in there also?
Yeah, that can go in there too.
Yeah, Love Your Heart butter is out of our cookbook, right? I think that's in volume 1 cookbook on page 49 or 7 or something like that.
You need 1/4 cup of Love Your Heart butter and a 1/3 cup of water.
And then we'll stir all this together.
And then it calls for cardamom.
Oh, it looks like our pumpkin is done. I better turn it off.
1/2 teaspoon of cardamom and 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
So your pumpkin is all turning all nice and thick.
Okay. Then we'll just pour it into this pan right here.
Pumpkin?
And we'll put it in the refrigerator. If you want it to set up real fast, you can put it in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes.
And how come you're not putting this pumpkin in the pie crust?
Well, when it sets up, we're going to whip it and then put it over our whipping cream that's in our pie that we showed you before.
And cooling it is what you call setting up, right?
We don't want to pour it over, of course, right now. Then the whipping cream will melt, right?
Oh, we don't want that.
So we're going to put it in the fridge.
Okay, I'll
to
take
let
it there.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so now we want this to be all nice and blended, the dates.
And just melt the dates so it'll be easy to blend.
Okay.
And then we need 3 cups of pecans. So we have so far 1 1/3 cups of dates, and we have 1/2 cup of honey, and 1/3 cup of Love Your Heart butter from our cookbook, 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom and salt, and 3 cups of pecans.
Okay.
And what are you going to do with the pecans? You're going to leave them whole?
We're
You're
going to blend
chop
that,
them?
and then, so it's probably soft enough, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll just go ahead and blend that, and we'll pour them over the pecans.
Okay.
And then you want to bake pour this into the pre-baked pie crust over here. You want to bring that we made already. And then you want to bake it in the oven at 350 for about ½ an hour.
I think this is soft and good enough. So we'll just go ahead and put it in the blender.
Yes. That looks good. We'll just whiz it and pour it over our pecans. Easy, huh? That's a fast and easy recipe.
I think so. I like that.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds like a really thick mixture.
Let me get the spoon.
You know, dates are so good for you. They're about 98% complex carbohydrates, which are where you get all that good, wonderful energy. You know, it's amazing. If you're into endurance running, or like the athletes, they always eat as a good source of quick energy things like fruits, or for that quick energy source like apples and things like that. Dates are another one of those wonderful quick energy sources to give that good energy right away. Plus, it's packed with nutrition. Fruit is the #1 source of vitamins and minerals, and along with vegetables too. And no wonder why we're recommended to eat about 5 to 8 fruits or vegetables every day to get that good nutrition in our diet.
Now, if you didn't have pecans, could you use walnuts with this?
That's a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
so walnuts will work. Okay.
We'll just,
Let me hold this for you.
thank you.
You know, it's amazing that you can make that without adding any eggs to the recipe. You haven't added any sugar, no butter, except for the good butter, Love Your Heart butter, which is full of fiber and no refined fats or oils, no cholesterol free. You know, once again, God's way wins again. We have seen time after time that you don't have to worry about giving up anything, but you can have everything when you eat the food he has provided.
And then we'll go ahead and put it in the oven for a half hour.
All right. I wonder how that pumpkin pie is coming along.
Well, it's done. It's right here.
That looks good.
Wonderful.
You want to cut it for us?
Well, I think it would be cool if we put some garnishes on it. Like
Okay.
Whipping cream, and how about let's put some pecans. We have some leftover, I have some pecans still. And we'll melt some carob chips.
What are you doing? Carob chips and pecans? Sounds good.
I'm going to dip the pecans in the carob chips.
Do you want to get some whipped cream out and put it in your cake decorator?
That's a good idea. Here's the whipping cream. You can hold that and I'll just fill it up.
Okay.
And this is a whipping cream.
Volume 1 cookbook on page 15, I believe.
And it's really easy to make.
Okay, that's probably good.
And then we'll just garnish the edge.
That's so neat. A whipped cream that's dairy-free, cholesterol-free, refined fat-free. You know, it's amazing. If you don't educate yourself with what nutrition comes from what things, you can be fooled by advertising. I remember when I went to the store and bought to buy a package of dried fruit. And on that package of dried fruit, it said less than 350 milligrams of cholesterol. Now,
Really?
tell me, is there any cholesterol in fruit? I don't think so, not naturally. Cholesterol only comes from animal products. So educate yourself so you can make wise decision. If your doctor says be on a cholesterol-free diet, you'll know exactly what he means. Cholesterol only comes from animal products. Look at this, it's already done.
Well, that melted fast.
They sure did.
Get that plate. And then we'll just dip them like that.
Dip the pecans in this
Carob.
We'll just dip them halfway.
These are carob chips, right?
And then you'll just put it in like this. You might want to let them,
Firm up before you put them on your pie.
let the carob dry.
Okay. Ooh, that looks delicious.
Put one there.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
It's a neat idea.
Put one right there. And then throw a few more on.
It's amazing how fun and pretty healthy food can be. Doesn't that look, oh, this is exciting. I can hardly wait to try that. Now, that pumpkin pie has the whipped cream underneath it, right?
Yes.
Like we put in first. So this is your pumpkin pie surprise, right?
Are you going to cut it for us so we can see what it looks like?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. I'm
Well,
eager
I
to
have
see
a
that.
knife here and I'm ready. Let me get a plate. I have a plate here too.
I'm going to put it up there.
Okay.
Oops.
Well, it looks good.
Hopefully it'll cut good, huh?
I remember the first time when we were inventing recipes to go in our cookbook. We had done a whole bunch of cooking that day, and Audrey decided to clean up, and Emberly had already finished making her pie.
You're not going to tell them that one, are you?
I'm going to tell them on you. And Emberly hadn't put the filling in the pie yet, and this was an unbaked pie crust. And when she did, Audrey was putting all the things in the cupboard, and the garlic sprinkled out behind Audrey out of the cupboard into the pie crust that hadn't been baked yet. And I bet you can imagine what dry granules of garlic does to wet dough. Stick really nicely together. And Emberly came along later, and she put her filling into the pie, and then we sampled it to see if it was fit for cookbook quality. And we were thinking, first of all, does it look good? How does it cut? It slices very well. Now the taste test. Does it taste really good? And when we sampled it, we thought, there's a garlic after flavor. What did you do, Emberly? And Audrey had to confess and let us know what happened. So sometimes it's important to have eyes in the back of your head, or else the recipes may jump out of the cupboard to ruin a wonderful ingredient.
Okay, so now we need our pecan pie out here, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get it then.
that.
The more we learn about the foods we eat and the nutrition in our foods, the more we realize that our lives and our world around us could not just evolve, that there is actually a master design and a work involved with all of this. The complexities of our bodies, science is realizing that Inner space is just as marvelous and wonderful and mysterious as outer space, and that each time we learn something, we realize that there is more to learn. And taking care of our body is such a important job to do, because when we take care of our body, we are blessing others around us and showing how much to God how much we love Him for all that He has done for us.
Okay, well, don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you've enjoyed the recipes and cooking tips in this program, you'll want to order our Food for Thought resource sheet. We'll tell you how you can order the cookbooks you've seen used on this program, along with other information that will help you cook healthful, attractive vegetarian meals. For your free copy of our Food for Thought resource sheet, please write to us at Food for Thought, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 618-627-4651.
And here's our pecan pie. And all these recipes you can have, they're like your old favorites, and you can still lose weight.
We would like to give thanks to 3ABN for providing the Food for Thought programs and allowing us to come and share our recipes with you. Also, we would like to thank Bernice Pelzel for writing the scripts and coaching us with our presentation. And for Gary Strunk giving us information. He's Doctor of Divinity. And also for our mother coordinating the Benton Sisters programs and our activities. And most of all, we would like to thank you and Jesus, for He has given us abundant life, and we have dedicated our lives to Him.
Jesus, take control of my life, and then I will be just what you want me to be.
Jesus, I give you my will. I'm willing to be just what you want me to be.
Jesus, fill my thoughts with your love, so then I will be full of your sweet melody.
Lord, you know I'm ready to go anywhere that there is a need. Lord, you know I'm ready to go anywhere that you want to lead. Anywhere that you want to lead. Ooh.
And now it's time to close with our food for thought for today. Ye are the temple of the living God, the Holy Spirit which dwells in you. So whatsoever you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. We want to thank you for joining us today.
And just step out in faith and know that Jesus will guide you.
And may God richly bless you.
See you next time.
Bye.